Welcome to the 13th episode of Fajak. Sorry for that, but what should I do? We have Halloween evening this day and I need to be prepared a little bit. But we have also Reformation Day in Germany, so maybe we should throw away all this sorceries and witchcrafts and continue with the work on the Fajak project. We need to bring now a little bit more tension into the side cladding, and for that I will start with sewing some flaps at the rear end and to put some kind of shoelaces through it. We will see if it will function. I wasn't quite satisfied with the tensioning system that evening. I'm afraid I can't avoid building two doors. At least I should experiment with it a bit, hoping that it might give me some new ideas. And then, last night, I had another idea, which hopefully won't require any complicated doors. I want to keep the Fajak as simple as possible. The ideal goal would be something like the VW Beetle of Amphibious kayaks. Therefore, I want to avoid complex doors if possible. The entry and exit openings should be created simply by sliding the side windows upwards and lowering the side panels. But for that, I think it would be good to first make the covering in two parts so that the stern is covered separately from the bow and middle section, and secondly move the pull tab a little bit forward. While working on the Fajak model, I kept thinking about my silly greeting scene with a witch mask and was almost ready to take it out again because it was just too embarrassing. On the other hand, I really wanted to be authentic, and at that moment I just seemed to feel like it, so should probably just leave it as is. But there's another reason, one I had to think about for many days afterward, and that brings me back to my old question: what actually distinguishes us from animals? As a vegan, I completely agree with the animal rights organization PETA on this point, namely, in principle, nothing. Anything else would be speciesism, and surely we don't want that. The individual species differ only in varying degrees of these traits, which are, in principle, present in all of them. Humans have apparently, and I hope anthropologists would confirm this, exaggerated two of the following characteristics to an excessive degree compared to other species. A. Our inclination towards a supernatural search for meaning, which manifests itself in spirituality and/or religiosity. B. Our exorbitantly high consumption of technology. And regarding point A, spirituality, religiosity, I was recently reminded of Halloween and Reformation Day, or rather my silly beginning. Without wishing to make any judgment or individual religious or spiritual practices or beliefs at this point, one can discover in this area an enormous number of human efforts throughout history to guide, structure, or reform our religiosity, spirituality. For example, from superstition to religion, or within a religion such as Christianity, from Catholicism to Protestantism. In Area B, however, our exorbitantly high technology consumption, which also distinguishes us from virtually all other species, if not qualitatively, Peter is right, then certainly quantitatively, I find a lack of comparable human efforts toward shaping, structuring, or even reformist movements. So the question I would pose from my engineering background, which I consider, at least partly, if not primarily, responsible for so many problems arising from unbridled technology consumption, to socialists, anthropologists or philosophers, indeed to anyone who is interested, is: why is this the case? In the case of A, we've been wonderfully mindful, reflective, or even frighteningly extremist for millennia. And in the case of B, we let things run wild, true to the motto, after us the deluge. These and similar questions are the ones I'm exploring on what I call Journey 1. And that's precisely why I have left in the embarrassing opening scene, please forgive me. On my Journey 2, the product development of the Fajak, I'm trying to work practically on these and similar questions. And we'll see if there will ever be a Journey 3, the test drive, and where it might lead me.